"You are under investigation for inciting separatism," the officer barked, slamming the paper onto the table. 26-year-old Mariam Doumbia stared back, silent. She had only posted one sentence: "Africa deserves better than borrowed dreams." Within hours, her home was raided, her laptop seized. But what they didn't know was that Mariam wasn't alone. She was one of the first voices in a covert movement spreading across cities, markets, and classrooms, where whispers of new African money, unity, and self-reliance had begun shaking the old order. And behind it all stood a name they couldn't arrest: Ibrahim Traoré. If you believe that even a small nation can stand tall against great power, if you believe that Africa deserves to write its own destiny, if you see the unyielding fire in Captain Traoré's eyes, then like the video and subscribe to the channel, not just to support, but to stand with us. Stand with a wave of awakening, a wave of pride, of the new African spirit. This is not just the story of Burkina Faso. This is a call to all who still believe in justice, freedom, and honor. Together, we won't just witness history, we will write it. Have you ever stopped to wonder why the world kept buzzing about the coups in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, yet barely whispered a word about Gabon? It wasn't because nothing happened. In fact, something did. A coup. A uniformed man stepping into power. But it didn't echo through the continent. It didn't spark fires of revolution or raise fists in solidarity. It just slipped into the headlines and out of memory. Because this wasn't a rupture in the system. It was a performance. A well-rehearsed handoff from one pair of polished boots to another. And the man at the center of it, General Brice Numur, knew exactly how to play his role. He walked in with sharp orders and sharper words, promising change, scrubbing clean what the old regime left behind. Cameras loved him. The people dared to hope. He looked the part. Talked the part. But behind that steel gaze, something else was waiting. If you believe in truth, courage, and the rise of a new Africa, then this is the channel for you. We share real stories, powerful moments, and bold leadership, like that of Ibrahim Traoré, who stands for unity, dignity, and African self-reliance. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with others who believe in a stronger, freer Africa. Your voice matters. Together, we amplify it. 2 years passed. 2 years of silence and control. Then, on his 50th birthday, he reappeared, not as a soldier, but as a man in a tailored suit, standing beneath a banner that read, "For a new Gabon." He spoke of rebirth. Of roads rebuilt and walls raised. Of hope, again. But something was off. Not the words. The timing. If you believe that even a small nation can stand tall against great power. If you believe that Africa deserves to write its own destiny. If you see the unyielding fire in Captain Traoré's eyes, then like the video and subscribe to the channel, not just to support, but to stand with us. Stand with a wave of awakening, a wave of pride, of the new African spirit. This is not just the story of Burkina Faso. This is a call to all who still believe in justice, freedom, and honor. Together, we won't just witness history, we will write it. Just months before, a brand new constitution had appeared, almost overnight. A clause that once barred military leaders from running for office? Gone. In its place, a line carved out for one man, and one man only. Brice Numur. He smiled as he declared, "I've heard your voices. I accept the call." The crowd clapped. But in quiet corners of Libreville, people exchanged glances. Who really called him? Was this a response to the Sahel wave, where leaders like Traore and Goita seized power with fire and fury? Was Gabon's coup nothing more than a decoy? A soft landing to distract from the hard truths elsewhere. And here's the final twist. While he claims he'll return to the barracks if he loses, rumors swirl that he's already gone civilian for good. No more uniforms. No more salutes. Just another man chasing power. And maybe, just maybe, that was the plan all along. But the show didn't stop at speeches. General Brice Neumer had a new role to play, and he was determined to play it well. Suddenly, he was everywhere. On stages, in churches, at football games, even on TikTok clips shared by youth pages. One Sunday morning, white doves flew over a cathedral roof as he walked out with clasped hands and a half-smile. A symbol of peace, they said. A photo op, others muttered. Because half of Gabon's population is under 20. And Brice knew it. He started dressing less like a general and more like a man of the people. Smiling more, shaking hands, handing out concert tickets to teenagers like candy. A local music star, L'Oiseau Rare, lit up the stage, and everyone in the front row knew who paid for it. The general did. If you believe that even a small nation can stand tall against great power. If you believe that Africa deserves to write its own destiny. If you see the unyielding fire in Captain Traoré's eyes. Then like the video and subscribe to the channel, not just to support, but to stand with us. Stand with a wave of awakening, a wave of pride, of the new African spirit. This is not just the story of Burkina Faso. This is a call to all who still believe in justice, freedom, and honor. Together, we won't just witness history, we will write it. And just like that, the tough-talking commander had become a cool uncle with campaign slogans and stadium selfies. But beneath the charm offensive, the battlefield hadn't vanished. It had simply changed terrain. His biggest rival, Alain-Claude Billy, a former prime minister with deep roots and deeper ambitions. Then there was Gina Changa, the only woman in the race, known for her fiery speeches and grassroots following. And trailing behind with quiet determination, Stephen Jamin, an old face from the Bongo era, walking a fine line between nostalgia and reckoning. Neumer wasn't playing for applause. He was playing for power. He promised lights where darkness reigned, electricity, steady and bright, to push back the years of blackouts that left entire towns swallowed by night. He promised to slash the debt, 12 billion and counting, despite Gabon's overflowing wells of oil, wood, and wealth. But promises are cheap. And rules? Even cheaper. Last November, a new law whispered through Parliament, just in time. The presidency now ran for 7 years per term. 2 terms possible. 14 years total. And guess who qualified? Brice Neumer. He didn't hide the plan. He didn't need to. He had a stage, a suit, and now, a script. One he could play for over a decade if the crowd kept clapping. But somewhere else in West Africa, another story was unfolding, one that felt different. In Burkina Faso, President Ibrahim Traoré was being asked to stay. Not by elites or diplomats. By the people. Thousands of them. In the streets. At home. Online. Abroad. They weren't demanding elections. They were begging him not to leave. Try to remember the last time that happened. No banners promising jobs. No staged concerts. Just a leader, walking through fire, and a people shouting his name, not because of what he promised, but because of what he endured with them. In the age of showmen and power holders, one man chose the spotlight. If you believe that even a small nation can stand tall against great power. If you believe that Africa deserves to write its own destiny. If you see the unyielding fire in Captain Traoré's eyes. Then like the video and subscribe to the channel, not just to support, but to stand with us. Stand with a wave of awakening, a wave of pride, of the new African spirit. This is not just the story of Burkina Faso. This is a call to all who still believe in justice, freedom, and honor. Together, we won't just witness history, we will write it. Another chose the storm. And somewhere between doves in Gabon and chants in Ouagadougou, Africa stood at a crossroads. It always starts with numbers. 40 properties in France. 70 bank accounts. 11 under one name, Omar Bongo. The cars. A playground for millionaires. Ferraris. Mercedes. Rolls-Royces. A fleet that glittered under Parisian skies. All this, while claiming to earn just 20,000 a month. It didn't add up. Not even close. From 2003 to 2007, nearly $100 million flowed through a New York bank. Quietly. Smoothly. No alarm bells, at least not loud enough. The U.S. Senate noticed. The French police noticed. But the French government? They stayed comfortable. Because in Paris, comfort has a price, and the Bongos knew how to pay it. If you believe in truth, courage, and the rise of a new Africa, then this is the channel for you. We share real stories, powerful moments, and bold leadership, like that of Ibrahim Traoré, who stands for unity, dignity, and African self-reliance. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with others who believe in a stronger, freer Africa. Your voice matters. Together, we amplify it. François Conradi, an analyst at Oxford Economics, put it bluntly, the Bongos financed French politics. And not just once. Not just quietly. Robert Bourgi, a lawyer with his fingers in every backroom deal, once claimed Omar Bongo and 4 other African presidents handed over $20 million in cold cash to fuel Jacques Chirac's campaign. Money talks. When Omar died in 2009, the crown didn't fall. It was passed. Ali Bongo stepped in, smiling, sharp, untouchable. But the shine wore off fast. Every election under Ali sparked outrage. In 2016, the rage boiled over. The parliament went up in flames, set ablaze by citizens who refused to believe the lie again. Then in 2018, fate struck. A stroke. A powerful one. Ali disappeared from view, convalescing in Morocco while whispers filled GA.B.ON'S streets. In his absence, ambition stirred. A failed coup tried to take advantage of the silence. It didn't succeed. But the damage was done. When Ali returned, he returned with a vengeance. He exiled his sister. Demoted his half-brother. Purged anyone with eyes on the throne. Even Brice Lacrouche Alahenga, once the closest man to power, gone. 5 years in prison. The reason? Corruption. The real reason? He reached too far while the king slept. To seal the circle tighter, Ali appointed his son, Noureddin Bongo Valentine, as his most trusted advisor. A new title. A new role. A future king in the making. But in doing so, he made a fatal mistake. Because in trying to protect his kingdom, Ali brought back a forgotten name. Brice Noumer. If you believe that even a small nation can stand tall against great power. If you believe that Africa deserves to write its own destiny. If you see the unyielding fire in Captain Traoré's eyes. Then like the video and subscribe to the channel, not just to support, but to stand with us. Stand with a wave of awakening, a wave of pride, of the new African spirit. This is not just the story of Burkina Faso. This is a call to all who still believe in justice, freedom, and honor. Together, we won't just witness history, we will write it. The man Ali had once cast aside in 2009, exiled, erased, sent to dusty diplomatic posts in Morocco and Senegal. Out of sight. Out of mind. Until 2019. Until the failed coup. Ali needed muscle. Loyalty. Fear. He gave Numer the most powerful job in the country, head of the Republican Guard, the elite force that guards the president. It was meant to be a shield. It became a blade. Because the man Ali once trusted to protect him, became the man who led the charge to remove him. Quiet. Calculated. Patient. Brice Numer waited for his moment. And when it came, he didn't knock. He kicked the door down. To understand how it all came crashing down, we need to go back, to a hospital bed in 2018. Ali Bongo had vanished. No speeches. No public appearances. Just silence. The kind of silence that makes power hungry. If you believe that even a small nation can stand tall against great power. If you believe that Africa deserves to write its own destiny. If you see the unyielding fire in Captain Traoré's eyes. Then like the video and subscribe to the channel, not just to support, but to stand with us. Stand with a wave of awakening, a wave of pride, of the new African spirit. This is not just the story of Burkina Faso. This is a call to all who still believe in justice, freedom, and honor. Together, we won't just witness history, we will write it. The official story was a stroke. But the unofficial story? That was chaos. Behind the marble walls of the presidency, decisions were being made in his name. Laws signed. Meetings held. All while the man supposed to lead the nation lay somewhere between recovery and retreat. And the people began to notice. Two camps emerged. The first, reformists. Disillusioned officials, fed-up citizens, and quiet insiders who believed the Bongo era had to end. They rallied behind Albert Anassa, a man with no dynasty, no golden name, but a promise, a clean break. The second camp? Loyalists. The old guard. Members of the PDG, the ruling party founded by Omar Bongo himself. They kept the lights on, wore the same suits, smiled the same lies. But under the surface, they were carving up the state, positioning themselves for the next throne. And in the middle of it all, Sylvia Bongo. The First Lady. The Shadow Regent. She was no longer just the wife tending to her ailing husband. Rumors said she was doing much more, preparing her son, Noureddin, for the crown. Quietly. Relentlessly. Grooming him for a legacy not yet his. By 2023, the pressure was unbearable. The nation was a volcano sealed with duct tape. Then came August 30th. The internet went black. Protests were ready to ignite. Observers vanished. The Bongo camp pushed last-minute rule changes through the courts like whispered secrets. Then, an announcement. The results. Ali Bongo, 64%. Anassa, 30%. And yet, the streets did not erupt. Not in protest. Not in chaos. They held their breath. Then the uniformed men stepped in. The coup had come. But not from the outside. Not from foreign mercenaries or rebellious generals. This was a betrayal from within. If you believe that even a small nation can stand tall against great power. If you believe that Africa deserves to write its own destiny. If you see the unyielding fire in Captain Traoré's eyes. Then like the video and subscribe to the channel. Not just to support, but to stand with us. Stand with a wave of awakening, a wave of pride, of the new African spirit. This is not just the story of Burkina Faso. This is a call to all who still believe in justice, freedom, and honor. Together, we won't just witness history, we will write it. According to political analysts like François Conradi, this wasn't about tearing down the house. It was about saving it from collapse. The outer circle of Gabon's elite, those who had built their fortunes in the Bongo shadow, decided the time had come. Ali, Sylvia, and Noureddin had become a liability. The dynasty they built to protect the system had become the threat to it. So the insiders struck first. And the man they chose to deliver the blow? Brice Numur. The one they once dismissed. The one they exiled. The one they underestimated. He didn't raise a fist. He didn't fire a shot. He simply walked through the front door, with the keys they had given him years ago. But what if the coup wasn't really a coup? That's what people started whispering in the corners of Libreville cafes, in WhatsApp threads, on late-night radio. Because the man who replaced Ali Bongo, General Brice Numur, wasn't a stranger. He was family. His cousin. Blood of the same dynasty. So what if the regime didn't fall? What if it just changed its face? Opposition leader Albert Anassa called it for what it might be, a palace revolution. No angry mobs, no broken gates. Just a silent handshake, swapping one crown for another. Ali was sick. Unpopular. Vulnerable. A liability. Brice was strong. Uniformed. Clean. It was perfect. If you believe that even a small nation can stand tall against great power. If you believe that Africa deserves to write its own destiny. If you see the unyielding fire in Captain Traoré's eyes. Then like the video and subscribe to the channel, not just to support, but to stand with us. Stand with a wave of awakening, a wave of pride, of the new African spirit. This is not just the story of Burkina Faso. This is a call to all who still believe in justice, freedom, and honor. Together, we won't just witness history, we will write it. And the people? They danced. On the day of the coup, joy poured into the streets of Libreville like a summer storm. Flags waved. Music thundered. Hope crackled in the air. For the first time in years, Gabon believed. Then came the arrests. Noureddin Bongo Valentine, Ali's son, was the first to fall. He was just 31, already wrapped in power, already prepared for the throne. Now, he stood on national television, head bowed, behind stacks of luxury bags and boxes. The message was clear, we are not the same. Brice Numur was cleaning house. Or so it seemed. Because while the cameras focused on confiscated goods and televised shame, skeptics leaned in closer. The BBC reported whispers, this wasn't about justice. It was theater. A production staged to fool the people into believing that something had truly changed. But the audience was growing smarter. Then came the twist. General Numur declared his run for president. He didn't just announce it. He rewrote the rules. A new constitution appeared. One that made his candidacy legal. Then he took off the uniform. No more badges. No more medals. Just a man in a suit, clean, confident, reborn. But you don't walk away from the army overnight. Not when you've built your empire in its shadow. And as he made his move, the comparisons began. In Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré still led with fire in his heart and dust on his boots. He walked with the people. Listened to them. Asked their permission to stay. And they answered with flags and chants and love. But in Gabon, Brice Numur stood alone. The cheers had faded. The applause from August had become a question mark. His rise didn't feel like a revolution. It felt like a rebrand. And beneath his tailored jacket still beat the same legacy. The same silence. The same machinery of power, financed and fortified by the Bongo clan. So now, as the election draws near, Gabon stares down a difficult truth. The face has changed. But has the system? That is the real twist. What looked like the end of an empire may have just been its rebirth. A reboot, not a revolution. A dynasty rebranded under a new uniform, a new smile, but the same bloodline. If Brice Numer stays in power for 2 full terms under the new constitution, Gabon isn't looking at freedom. It's looking at 14 more years of Bongo-linked rule. 14 years wrapped in a different flag, but sewn from the same cloth. If you believe that even a small nation can stand tall against great power. If you believe that Africa deserves to write its own destiny. If you see the unyielding fire in Captain Traoré's eyes. Then like the video and subscribe to the channel, not just to support, but to stand with us. Stand with a wave of awakening, a wave of pride, of the new African spirit. This is not. Won't just witness history, we will write it. And to be fair, it's not a crime for a soldier to run for office. Across Africa, we've seen it happen again and again. In Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré might one day choose that path. And if he does, the people may well stand behind him. Because he listened. Because he bled with them. Because he asked before he ruled. But that kind of leadership is rare. More often, it's the other kind that wins. The kind that rises from shadows, not sacrifice. The kind with no legacy except control. The kind that stays too long, says too little, and delivers even less. Just look at Cameroon. Equatorial Guinea. Gabon, under the Bongos. Same rulers. Same crises. Same cycle of silence and wealth and decay. That's why the people are watching now. Not the suit. Not the speeches. But the heart. And that's where Brice Numer comes up short. He removed a president, promised change, and now stands where his cousin once stood. Smiling, waving, running for office. But where is the soul? Where is the courage? Where is the voice that says, I serve you, not myself? Because when power shifts without transformation, it's not a coup. It's choreography. So now Gabon must ask the hardest question of all. Was this the end of an era? Or just a costume change? One of the most powerful lessons from the recent political shifts in Africa, especially in Gabon, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, is that not all change is real, and not every new face brings a new future. At first glance, the fall of old regimes may look like a step toward justice, but without transformation of the system itself, the people simply trade one mask for another. The story of General Brice Numer, who appeared to overthrow